Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sama Sales Circuit Music and Art. Yes, we're based in Seattle, but due to the magic of the internet and live streaming, we're literally all over the world. I'm Derek Mazzoni, and thank you so much for joining for another edition of Sama. We have a special guest tonight who is a musician of a genre and a tradition that I love dearly since I first heard it in Boston. It is a form of healing and trance music known as Gnawa, and it has become incredibly well known and popular for a variety of reasons. It's phenomenal. It is a true tradition in a context that it's evolving. It's not just stuck in amber. There's an aspect of it that is working with different types of genres, yet holding on to its tradition. There is a festival of it, and it is, in many ways, representational of the country where it originates, countries, Algeria and Morocco, and once again, I'm stressing this other part is that it is evolving. People go, they see it, they fall in love with it, just like I have. So, the artist I'm speaking to today, his name is Samir LanGus. He has been playing Gnawa for most of his life. He was living in New York. Now he is in Raleigh, and it is an honor to have him here. Hello, Samir.
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
It's going great. Great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank
Um,
you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about just your background. Like, what got you into music in general, and what got you into Gnawa music? What was the thing that was the catalyst that got your? And it's a very interesting story. And I'll go. I'm going to tell people more about your interesting life and how it came about. But what was the first thing that made you go like, wait, I want to make music, and I want to make this music?
Well, the love of the great Ma'allim Hamid Al-Qasri, he's the one who made me love the music. And since growing up, I've been listening to his music and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, okay, one day I want to be just like him. And I'm still working on it.
But what was it about the music? What was it that made you fall in love with it? Because there's a lot of things to fall in love with, And I have
Totally.
I ask this for everybody. It's like, what is it about music that drew you to it?
Well, the African roots
Mm-hmm.
to it. And like for me as an African, as a Moroccan, I'm always happy to play my tradition. And even though I was born in a different tradition, which is Isawa, I fall in love with Gnawa. And just the sound of the gambri, the instruments, and the culture surrounding it. So just that's how I fall in love with the music.
So tell me more about the Aisawa and the differences between the Aisawa and Ganawa traditions, if you can.
Yeah, Isawa is like it's like a Sufi. It's very spiritual as well. We do have like this whole night ceremonies, but it's just the instruments. We have mostly drums and
Mm-hmm.
percussions, and we have the gaita, which is like the Moroccan flute.
Mm-hmm.
We call it gaita, and it's very spiritual.
And so we're talking about Sufi music, we're talking about spiritual, we're talking about all these things that completely fit here. But one of the things that really made me go deeper into Gnawa music is that it's a healing music. It actually has a tradition of like you're having a hard time, whether you're dealing with depression, anxiety, all these things that we are dealing with right now. Throughout the world, we're living in interesting times. There are healing ceremonies that are ancient that are tied to this music. That's a pretty big thing to carry when you're like, this is going to help you in a particular way. That's not the usual thing you get with music. It was like, hey, check out my sound. It's really cool. Speak to that if you can a little bit, because it's always intrigued me in a context of musicians. Like, this is healing music. How is it healing? What exactly is going on here?
Well, we do have this Gnawa ceremonies. We have this whole night. So let's say you are sick, you are not feeling good, and you tried all the Western medicine. You went to see a doctor, and but inside of you, you are not feeling good. So maybe you can get across of someone who knows about Gnawa and about the lila and about the healing ceremony that we do. And then you're gonna have to talk with the muqaddima, which is basically the preteress, like
Mm-hmm.
the muqaddima. She's a
The, the
woman.
the priestess, yeah.
The priestess, yeah, she's the one who organizes the night and organizes the ceremony. So then she's gonna be like, okay, this is what you have to do. You will have to buy this. You will have to get a sacrifice. Sometimes, and you will have to. And I'll take care of the rest. I'm gonna hire a master that she works with, and then they're gonna organize a ceremony for you. And
Yeah.
within the ceremony, you will find out which color is which spirit that you are having. You know,
So that's your diagnosis. This spirit is like, in the West, you go to a doctor and the guy's like, well, I think you got this and this and this. I'm going to give you this pill or that for that. So this spirit is the diagnosis?
basically, yeah, because sometimes the spirit is not happy, so he gives you a hard time.
Hmm.
So once you satisfy that spirit, he's gonna, you know, give you some peace,
Okay.
basically.
That's powerful. That's fascinating. Let's hear something right now first, because we can speak about this, and it's also as an evolution to your work. But let's start with the first song, and it's up to you. So you recorded some things for us, where you are right now on the river, and then there's your versions of Tora Tora and Lala Aisha. Which would you like to play first?
Basically, I would prefer. Uh, do you want to play some traditional ones, so we
Yeah,
can
let's
play
start with that. Let's start with Salah Nabina.
Sala
Okay,
Nabina? Yeah.
perfect. This is so good. Thank you.
صح.
الشرفاء صلاة حيانا ويا والله حيانا ويا حيانا ويا وسيدي يا ناوي نور الله اللهم صل على النبي مولاي محمد اللهم صل على النبي مولاي محمد اللهم صل على النبي شفيع العباد شنقا بوليلة الله يرحم بوليلة شنقا بوليلة الله يرحم بوليلة شنقا بوليلة سيدي وينو بالله حيانا ويا وسيدي يا ناوي نور الله حيانا ويا وسيدي يا ناوي حن الله اللهم صل على النبي مولاي محمد اللهم صل على النبي مولاي محمد اللهم صل على النبي شفيع العباد
Thank you so much. Samir LanGus on Sama, Sales Record Music and Art, playing the gumbiri just a couple of days ago on a river in North Carolina. That instrument is mesmerizing. Anybody that I know that's spoken, that has heard it play, they can't seem to forget it. There's something about it that is, I've seen documentaries, I've talked to artists about it. It's a gift from God. Um, uh, how long did it take you to get proficient in playing it? Because it's complex, but yet it looks really simple.
Yeah, I mean, just back to the video, actually was recorded in the Hudson River in New York State.
Oh, okay, my bad.
That's where it was recorded by my great friend Zach. I
Thank you, Zach.
thank you, Zach, for the video. And it was at my friend's house, Nat. Thank you, Nat.
Thank you,
So,
Nat.
so back to the Gumbri. That's the thing. A lot of people, whenever they talk about Gnawa music and talking about the instrument, you think that okay, we have just two and a half strings.
Yeah.
It's like three strings, but they call them just two and a half because the middle string we don't usually play it on the left hand. We just touch it by the right hand, and it can take you years to become a master, a
Hmm.
معلم in the music, which for me, I don't want to be a معلم. I don't want to be a master. I'm just a musician. I love the
Okay.
music, and I love the culture, and I would love to keep on, you know, sharing it and playing it. But being a master and a معلم is a huge, huge responsibility. It's like becoming a doctor.
Got
Basically,
it.
you have to study your whole life, play with the masters, play with the musicians, play with the Gnawis, and the person that's in trance in front of you, basically, that's your patient. So you have to know how to work with them. You cannot just go and be like, okay, I'm gonna give you a surgery. You have to know which notes to hit. You have
Hmm.
just by having an eye contact with that person, you have to know what's wrong with him, and it's very deep, and I can't do that.
I understand completely. But tell me a little bit about Salah Nabina. What's the song about?
Salah Nabina, it's like basically prayers upon the Prophet,
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad, and that's one of the songs that we start with in the lila, whether we play it with the drums or we play it in the gambri, just like I did, and it's part of the non-color songs, like we call them Ulad Bambara, the sons of Bambara, and it's very fun, because that's the first part in the ceremony. You have the sons of Bambara. Basically, there is there is so much dance, there is so much playing, there is so much joy, happiness.
Mm-hmm.
People are just having fun, gathering. But then you get to the sacred part, which is the opening of the ceremony, and that's like everyone has to be quiet, everyone has to be focused, because once you open the ceremony, we call it Futuh Rahba. Once you open the ceremony, like everyone is very serious. Even the master, you look at his face, he's just like, he's really into it.
Okay. See, this is the thing that I find intriguing about your history here, and I didn't even start with this. It's like um, you've been collaborating with different artists, like especially like producers such as Nicodemus and Bonobo, and your record, that collaboration actually was nominated for a Grammy. And so, in one way, Gnawa is ancient music, and in the '60s, Hendrix stayed with Gnawa musicians, Led Zeppelin, all that, all these characters, and then moved into jazz with Ornette, Pharoah Sanders working with them. But nobody actually suddenly was at the Recording Academy in LA, you know, up for a Grammy. So, in one way, you have become the biggest ambassador of Gnawa music in the world. Now, that's good, and it's also crazy, because this is an ancient tradition brought, like there are authors, there are books and tomes and studies about this, and then here's Samir LanGus in New York. Hey, check this out, and then boom, a couple years later, you're in LA, and this is suddenly people are like, what is this? This is amazing. It's hitting people on a dance floor because it's a fabulous song. It's the reason why it was nominated, and becomes really interesting. And so, there's this to this conversation that we're having right now. There's this fun and joy and everything, but suddenly it gets deep, it gets heavy, and it gets healing, and it becomes transcendent, and it becomes something that anybody who's there can suddenly tap into theoretically and help them heal. And we've had this conversation where it's like music is power, and that power is a way to bridge cultures, bridge boundaries, bridge politics, and all that. And then it's one thing if you're doing it in an academy, if you're doing it at a festival. It's a whole other thing if you're suddenly holding on to a Grammy nominee, and suddenly you're the guy that goes like, wait, I heard this and it's changed me. So I want you to think on that, because it's a big thing. And I want to play another song because we're getting a ton of comments, and it's great. Thank you all for watching and listening. I want to thank also STG and Live and Bamako and everybody else who's checking us out right now. But let's hear right now. This is Bulila, right? And this is also the recording on Hudson. So think on the things we're going to be talking about, because it's going to be great. Samir LanGus on Sama.
Moroccan tea. الولي بولي هلا سوداني بولي لا حبولي لا الولي بولي لا سوداني بولي لا حبولي لا الله لي الله لي الله لي بالله لي ولا مشي لي يا ما يجوا ودايم ولانا ولي بولي لا حبولي لا والله لي الله لي الله لي بالله لي ولا مشي لي الدنيا ما يجوا ودايم ولانا بولي لا بولي لا بولي على حبايبي بولي على خوتي ابونا جابونا ابونا باعنا الله لي الله لي الله لي بولي لا سوداني بولي لا حمول الله الله لي بولي لا حمول الله سوداني بولي لا حمول الله الله لي الله لي الله لي بالله لي ولا مجلالي يا الدنيا ما يجوم يا دايم ولانا سوداني فلاني الحمد لله الله لي بولي لا الله الحمد لله سوداني بولي لا الله الحمد لله يا الله لي يا الله لي يا الله لي بالله لي أهلا مشي لالي الدنيا ما يجوا هدايم ولانا الولي الوالي فرقوني على حبابي فرقوني على أخوتي فرقوني على يما يما لا حنينة الولي بولي لا الحمد لله سوداني بولي لا الحمد لله كالي بولي لا الحمد لله يوبتي يوبتي الله كبر يوبتي الله كبر لا لا يوبتي اركي جنة يوبتي 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 اركي جنة يوبتي الله كبر يوبتي يتيم الله يا لا إله إلا الله 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 يا ابن العبد القامله لا إله إلا الله حبيبي يا رسول الله يا فرحي يا سادتي 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 حب النبي سكن ذاتي يا فرحي يا سادتي حب النبي سكن ذاتي يوبتي الله أكبر يوبتي يبكي جنة يا يوبتي يتيم الله يوبتي بجنة الله
Samir LanGus on Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. That was really beautiful, stunning actually, that you're able to create that kind of um, transcendent energy just with you playing, just there, hanging out, getting that vibe going. Tell me about the songs, and then we'll talk about the subject we just discussed about you being the guy with representing Gnawa. But tell me about the songs. Like, what was going on in your mind as you were playing them? What are the songs about?
So the songs is it's more of the blues, like the
Hmm.
first song Bolila and Yubati. Bolila, it's all about the way how the slaves were transformed and transported from West Africa to
Hmm.
Morocco and to the West. Like they were just singing about their journey, what happened to them, that they split us from our families, they split us from my mom, from my dad, from my beloved ones, and and we are walking. The master is riding on top of his horse, and we're just walking and tired. It's more about the blues. And
Okay.
then you Betty, it's more about the same, but you can there is some parts where I was singing about me missing my mom and
Hmm.
missing home and missing my family.
And you grew up in Agadir, Morocco. You're an immigrant.
Yes,
Um,
in
and
8 million exactly.
um, and uh, and you are now here presenting this music. So let's speak to that for a little bit because how should I say this? Musicians are a prickly bunch, shall we say? There's everybody's got an opinion. You with your band of Gnawa with Bonobo received this Grammy nominee, and there was a lot of attention. There was another record that came out, and like when you receive that kind of that awareness, you suddenly become that person attached with that particular music, which is great, but also can be complicated because there's other musicians there, and especially with we just talked about the history of Ganawa music, the fact that it was brought by slaves. It's its connotation to legacy, its connotation to community. I've had a bunch of different artists and a bunch of writers that speak to this. Gnawa music is also part of a Sufi tradition that you find in Zar in Egypt and other forms in Tunisia all the way to Iran. So it becomes really an interesting place to be as a young artist, a young musician, also an immigrant. What are your thoughts on this? Like, either carrying this thing or the fact that it's your place, and what will you do with it?
Well, I when I came to the States, I never chose that I would be doing music full time. Like I always loved Gnawa music. I always loved the music, but it just it's like the music told me that Samir, you have to start working. You have to make more music. You have
Hmm.
to put your full time into Gnawa music. And that's what happened, since I moved to New York in 2014, late 2013, and I formed the band in Gnawa, and that was the beginning, and the more that you for me it's like I always like to have new experiences. I always like to collaborate with other musicians. It doesn't matter which style. Like I always love it.
Okay, so
But within the respect of the music, of the tradition, of Gnawa music. Like if I do an electronic track or something, whenever you're gonna hear it, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, yes, there is the origins are there, but
yeah,
then you can add some layers on top of that.
yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
always hear that Gnawa touch in it.
And that touch, is I love it. Some people are like, what is it doing on a dance floor? And I'm like, it needs to be on a dance floor because that touch is what creates a different kind of energy on that dance floor, or in that stadium, even like a Coachella, or at an academy or in a small place. That particular intention is, to quote unquote, makes that space sacred or more sacred, which I applaud, which I keep going back to that point we need right now. So I'm glad that you're evolving this music, and I'm glad that you're bringing it to more people. And on that note, it feels like now, especially in Morocco and other countries too, in some countries it's championed. It's like, hey, this is actually good for our image, and it's good for tourists. It's good for it's good. It's good because it keeps the music alive. It's not just like stuck in one place. But in other countries, it's not. Like in Egypt, as an example, it's not. It's not cool to play this, and sometimes things have to be done underground. Often have to be done underground. What are your thoughts on that? That in some places this music is great and championed, in others it's not. It's quite
Well,
the opposite.
in Morocco, why? It's because thanks to the Gnawa festival.
Hmm.
The festival Gnawa and Music du Monde in Essaouira, it bring it gives a new life to the music. Back then, the music was very limited and it was only played in lilas and was very underground. You cannot play it. You cannot even you as a Moroccan, it's hard for you to attend a Gnawa lila. There are like certain people that can attend. Like you have to know someone
Got it.
can get you in, And I have a story that the late great jazz Mr. Randy Weston,
Mm-hmm.
one day, before he passed away, we were hanging in his house. He always invites us and he makes food, dinner, and stuff, and we play Gnawa.
That's
So
great.
he was giving us this story that happened to him. The first time he went to Tangier to meet with the great Muallim Abdullah Al-Gurd from Dar Gnawa in Tangier, and he met with him, and he wanted to attend the Lila. So the great Muallim Abdullah Al-Gur told him, okay, there is a Lila happening tonight. I can take you and you can watch it. And Mr. Randy Weston was like, okay, that's great. So let's go. So they went. And then the master that was performing in the Lila, he said, no, I'm not going to allow him to come in.
Wow. Okay.
And then the guy was like, yo, he's one of us, he's African, he's one of us,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, no, I'm not gonna allow him to come in. And it was like up and down this and so much negotiations and stuff. And then he told them, okay, I'm gonna let him in under one rule. He has to wear a jalaba, like the Moroccan traditional outfit,
Uh-huh.
to look like a Moroccan guy. He told them
Wow.
that's the only
He had to go clandestine. Okay.
he has to wear a jalaba, like a traditional outfit, and that's the only way that they can allow him to come into the Lila.
Wow.
And
That's
that's how hard it was for you to come in to a Gnawa Lila. But thanks to the Gnawa Festival,
Thank you, Gnawa Festival. And thank you
yeah,
for being able to, and thank you, Samir, for sharing this music. Okay, so you gave us a lot of songs, and I want to also have you perform something right now. But on that note, we've got Tora Tora, and we also have Lala Aisha. Do you want to play Lala Aisha first?
I would love to save Lala Isha to the end.
Okay, so shall we play Tora Tora, and then we have an evolution of a Gnawa that I'm going to play for a little bit later. But right now, I would love for you to get ready to play something live, and let's play Tora Tora right now. Cool?
Cool.
Okay. Samir LanGus on Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art.
ترى ترى تهرى ويي ولا كمية ولا شنوية لك جنقا جنقا بوليلة والله ما أنا كل ضلالة يا ناوي راني في كرشي يا ولا كمية داويني العزازانية ترى ويا تبكوا لينا الله الله يا تبكوا لينا تهرى 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 ويي ولا كمية ولا شنوية داويني عزيز عليا ولا شنوية ولا شاشية تركوا لينا تركوا لينا تركوا لينا ترى ويلي تركوا لينا تركوا الليلة تركوا الليلة ولا كمية ولا شنوية داويني عزيز عليا ترى 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 ويي لا كمية لا جنوية داويني عزيز عليا لا تركوا لينا لا ترى ترى لا تركوا لينا لا ترى ويي ولا كمية ولا جنوية عزيز عليا كل اللون كل اللون ترى ويي لا كمية لا شنوية كل اللون كل اللون كل اللون ترى 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 كل اللون ترى كل اللون كل اللون كل اللون كل اللون
Samir LanGus, Gnawa musician on Sama Sales Circuit Music and Art. That was gorgeous. That
Thank
was
you.
really, really well done. Tell me, where did you record that?
So that was recorded at Weston Live in Bushwick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a bunch of jazz friends. You know, my great brother and friends. You know, Omer Vital, Morshi, and all these great guys. You know, we just meet there, and you know, we just keep on playing music, and they love me, and I love them, and we always, you know, just like this is your house. You know, whenever you want to feel record something, you can just come and record.
Perfect. Perfect. That was great. And it's a great example also of how you and other artists are evolving this, because there was a great quote, like, you know, if a culture doesn't evolve, it can't survive. You know, it's just, it's trapped. And you come to New York, go to Bushwick, and you start working this particular energy, shall we say, this music, and working with others and sharing it. So well done. Well done. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So it's an interesting place right now, because obviously it's a pandemic, venues are shut down. We're in the middle of an election cycle. Who knows what's going to happen? And these things are happening all over the world. So I'm super curious as an artist, as an immigrant, as somebody who's been, you know, experiencing and presenting this music a lot. As you said, you know, you came to New York and you weren't expecting to make music your full-time thing, but then it became a thing, and then you're suddenly playing it out there. You're going out, you're touring all over the country, all over the world. You get the Grammy nominee. That's heady. That's a lot of stuff that could suddenly, you know, fill your head. But it seems to me that right now, and from mutual friends, they said, no, it's solid. You know, you're creating, and I think, you know, from our conversation, you're still inspired. You're still curious to see where this will go. You're still, you're channeling more and more. Would you say that was the truth?
Yeah, I always like to learn and just
Hmm.
keep learning. Like, because the time that you're gonna be like, oh, I'm there, that's you're gonna start falling down. So like you always have to keep working, and it's not about getting there. It's about staying there and going more. It's not about, I we got the Grammy nomination and all of that, but that puts so much weight on my
Yeah,
shoulder. Like, okay, here we go, you got the nomination, what's next?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the people
What's
now
what's
are
the next
expect
one?
yeah, like, I have high expectations of people now, so I have to keep working twice as hard as I used to be. And
Yeah,
now the pandemic, so like, what can I do? Like, do I still keep doing music, or do
yeah,
I have, like, or should I just quit? Like,
yeah,
what's going on? Like, you see all these venues are being closed, and it's like so much. And then you're like, no, I'm not giving up. No, I'm just gonna fight back. I'm just gonna keep on doing what I do, just recording music. And the Tura Tura was recorded just before I moved out of New York.
mm-hmm.
I just called my friends, like, the great saxophone. His name is Oran Itkin. He has his own solo project. He's an amazing uh, musician, like Carolina Mama on the vocals, and Arta, and Nizar Dahmani on the drums. He's Moroccan too, and Aran on the bass. It's just like this, and they all love the music. They all love Gnawa music. So once I called them and I was like,
Yeah,
I have this idea. Can we just make it happen? And the arrangements all happened at the same time at the studio. Like, when
perfect,
we didn't rehearse, we did nothing, but they have it in their blood. They love the music, and
perfect.
that's what makes me work with musicians. Like, I choose musicians who love the music.
Let's hear you. Let's see. Can we hear something live right now?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, let's do it.
perfect.
I'm just trying to tune the. So basically, what I was thinking is just uh, to have some, like, I have some pre-recorded castanets, and I'm just gonna play them and play on top of them. And I hope you guys like
Perfect.
it.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I don't know how is the sound.
Sounds
Sounds
great.
good.
Yeah.
ويه هي ويه يا سنتيا الله يا ربي مولهاي ويه يا سنتيا الله يرقنا وياها الله يرحم الوالدين هو يا سنتيا الله يا سودانيها ويه سندية خدمي سيدك بالنية ويا سندية وهو اللي يضربك بالكومية ويا سندية الله يا ربي مولاي ويا سندية يا القناوية الله يرحم الوالدين يا ويي يا سندية الله يرحم الوالدين ويي يا سودانية الله يرحم الصالحين ويي يا سندية ويي يا سندية يا الميمة يا الحدينة يا ربي مولاي ميمة والبو الحنين ويي يا سندية سهرتي طول الليالي ويي يا سندية ربي يغفر لي ويي يا سندية يا القناوية الله يرحم الوالدين ويي يا سودانية الله يرحم الوالدين ويي يا القناوية الله يرحم الصالحين
That's awesome. Samir LanGus live on Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. I want to ask everybody right now to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook as we continue to present music from all over the world, transcendent healing music such as Samir LanGus. That was fun. You know, I love the fact that you can actually just record the castanets and play along with that. Isn't technology is just blowing my mind right now? The more I do these things, it's like, wait a second, wow, you can create so much in this space. You know, we could talk for hours. I want to get a few more of the videos that you sent because, you know, we touched on this. You have been evolving, you know, this particular genre and the energy of it, and you've been courageous enough to align it with different types of musics, which is great, which speaks to the fact that, you know, you're living in the 21st century and you're not going to, you know, be in a village somewhere or in a town and just playing this. So I wanted to play this one song with this band. Tell me about this video before we play it right now.
So that collaboration with the rock and roll band
Mm-hmm.
called Added Color, they're my friends, and you know, we just got connected and we went to the studio. We got together and we just started. I just started playing, and then they're like, "Oh, we like that song. Okay, what's the riff? You know, how can we play it? What are the notes? How is the rhythm?" So I explained to them, "This is how the castanet goes. This is how the sintir
Mm-hmm.
goes." And this is how the singing goes. And you're like, okay, so let's practice that one. So we just did it, and it was amazing.
It works. I showed it to my daughter, my 14-year-old, and she's like, "This is awesome." I'm going to play this right now. Okay, Samir LanGus on Sama. Check this out.
الله يا بالحسين مولاي عبد الله يا بالحسين جرنا مهنا بالحسين مولاي عبد الله ويا جرنا مهنا وابونا قولي صار يا مولاي عبد الله يا جمغار
Wow. Wow, indeed. That just worked. That just worked. At first, you would think about it as like, what's up with this? What's going on? But that actually worked. Samir LanGus, that was awesome. So, quick bit of business. You're on Bandcamp. Where can people support your music and at this particular difficult
I
time?
mean, for now, like I'm just trying to create more music, and
Hmm.
um, I'm not on any platforms yet. Like as of
Okay.
my solo projects.
We got you just at the beginning of something, which is awesome. You're going to do well. This is great. Thank you for sharing your music, your thoughts, this beautiful healing culture. It's needed now more than ever. And I look forward to having you back. And I look forward, more importantly, to having you on stage in Seattle, maybe meeting in Aswati at the Gnawa Festival, wherever you end up. This is great work. Really, thank you for sharing it.
Thank you so much, Derek. I've been a fan for a long, long time. And, thank you for having me. It's an
Thank you.
honor. It's a pleasure. And I just want to thank everyone who's watching from all over the world, peace and love and just happiness. Saha
Thank you.
kuyu.
We're going to leave with Lala Aisha. Tell us a little bit about the song before we play it.
So Lala Aisha basically is the last song that we play in a lila, in a Gnawa ceremony.
Mhm.
It's like a part of the blood color, and it's played before the sunrise. It's like around 5 a.m. That's when you play it,
Wow.
and it's very powerful and it's very spiritual. So I try to do like a little work on it, and I hope you guys like it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This is Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. Next week, we've got Chris Ekman, founder of Glitterbeat Records, and Shirom from Slovenia, Liraz from Tel Aviv, and many, many artists coming up. Please sign up for our newsletter at seattlestrictedmusic.com and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. Peace, love, joy, salam.
يا ما دامت الايام دايمه والليالي حياني والهايمه ويا لالا عيشه لالا وعيشه وعويشه لالا والسكنه في الجبال يا الله يا مولك 7 ألوان يا الله وانا غادي حفيان يا الله وعيشه لمي ما لا عيشه وعيشه وعويشه لا عيشه والسلبة العيالات يا الله يا مولة عيد كبير يا الله برا يعرف ما يدير يا الله يا والله مصلي على النبي يا ما دامت الايام دايمه والليالي حياني والهايمه ويا عيشه روداش البيك ويا الكريم الله ويا الوحيد الله ويا لالا عيشه وعيشه وعويشه والسكنه في الجبال يا مولات الودان يا مولات 7 ألوان يا مولات عيد كبير برا يعرف ما يدير يا والله وصلي على النبي ويا الكريم الله ويا الوحيد الله ويا لالا عيشه وعيشه وعويشه والسكنه العيالات والسكنه في الجبال يا مولات 7 ألوان يا مولات عيد كبير ويا المحزن وضيق يا ويلا جاك الديب هذا حقي في الله ويا ابو شاخور ويا مولا زرهون هذا وعد الله ويا الكريم الله يا والله صلي على النبي